What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing today? Got the Hogue Deka, USA made knife by Hogue Knives. Just gonna do like a quick little overview, review, whatever of it. It's a good little everyday carry, great size, really good ergonomics. A lot of people are calling it like the bug out killer, so it's supposed to be competitive with that, which we'll talk about that. I don't have a bug out myself. I've never owned one. I've handled one before, and this one I actually bought and I own it. Got it on a pretty good deal. Last 2 Christmases ago, I think. Um, really good knife for the money. Um, Hogue Knives is a great USA made company. They are putting out a lot of good stuff. So go ahead and go into the dimensions and the measurements here. We got overall length Hogue Deka 7.5, just under 7.5 inches. You got 3.25 inch on the blade. Cutting edge is 3.1/8. Now this is the clip point version. It also comes in a different version, the Warncliffe, which the measurements on that are different, but only slightly. This is the brown, Coyote Brown, I think they call it. Coyote Brown FD tan polymer FRN, kind of like a really hard plastic. I'm not really a big fan of the scale material itself, but it's not too bad. Let's see, we'll go ahead and finish up dimensions before I get sidetracked. Blade stock thickness. Alright. Let's see, thickness at the edge. Yeah, about 39 thousandths. Thickest part, $96 thousandths, 95.5 thousandths. Pretty good slicer. Not super ultra thin, but pretty thin compared to, I guess, a lot of knives I've handled or I own anyway. It's a really good slicing knife. Let's see, weight. Now the scale's still jacked up. Still got the same scale. If I put the camera like maybe about 6 inches away, you can read the numbers on it. It doesn't act all crazy like this. Like I'm looking at 0.0 ounces right now, but you guys are looking at something that looks like a rave. But anyway, what I got is 2.1 ounces. You can also check the here, I'll pull it up actually. Pull up the Blade HQ website, specs, go down to weight, 2.1 ounces. So ounce and inch for a little over 3 inches of cutting edge to be 2.1 ounces. That's pretty good. It's a really lightweight knife. I mean, you barely know it's in your pocket. Pocket clip, not a bad pocket clip. You can see I've used the heck out of this one. It's got a lot of wear on it. It's a deep carry clip that comes with it. You can swap out the scales, the clip. You can get original goat. A lot of reviewers I've seen have gotten original goat scales on theirs, and they look fantastic. I'd eventually like to swap out to that, but like I said, these are not too bad. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot worse knife scales. I definitely prefer it over the Grivery scales that Benchmade has. We'll go ahead and do some size comparisons on it. That is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Alright, you can see it's a lot smaller than that. Handle, blade length, cutting edge, everything's smaller. More about the size of this one. That's a Spyderco Para 3. And you got another Hogue knife. It's the Doug Ritter Hogue RSK MK1. This is what I would say is a full-size knife, and this is what I would say is a smaller than full-size knife, but not like a micro knife, like a baby banner or anything. It's just that neck size smaller. Like I say, you can make a lot of comparisons, that one and that one, between the Paramilitary 2 and 3, even though there are a lot of differences. Alright, so what else I got here? This is the Demco 80-20.5, the shark's foot blade. Broader handle, about the same cutting edge, actually a little bit more cutting edge with the Hogue Deka than that one. A lot broader of a blade though. And let's see, last one, I'll do the Penguin. QSP Penguin. Roundabouts, fairly similar in size, but that Warncliffe, sheep's foot, whatever you want to call it, is causes it to be a little bit shorter than the cutting edge on the Hogue Deka. That's about it as far as specs and everything goes I can think of. Size comparisons. Look, this is a great knife. The thing that kind of makes this a bug out killer, I mean, along with the price tag, is, let's see, right now they're running for, that one is $148 on Blade HQ, and I think a Benchmade bug out. Let's see how much a Benchmade bug out is real quick. Let's see, full size Benchmade bug out. Pulling it up here. So yeah, the Benchmade bug out full size one that's on here. Not anything crazy with titanium or titanium handle or anything nuts like that. This one that I'm pulling up, 3.24 inches of cut. Yeah, so right around the same size, same sort of handle material. Benchmade's 162, and that one's about 20 bucks, 18, 20 bucks cheaper. But the thing is, this, what makes this special, what made it so special when it released, and they call it a bug out killer, is the Magna Cut. This is CPM Magna Cut on here, which is kind of like the hot new steel that everybody's in love with because it meets corrosion resistance and edge retention and a lot of factors all in one. But whenever these first released, Knives and a lot of people were talking about how the heat treat wasn't high enough, like the HRC, like it wouldn't hold an edge because it wasn't heat treated high enough. And I think I got the batch after Hogue actually changed it up and started heat treating it a little higher. I must have gotten the batch that they started heat treating it higher, because mine has been a pretty good cutter, like with edge retention. I mean, you just drop it back to life. I've dulled it to where it won't shave after cutting a bunch of rope and rubber and cardboard and stuff. And stropping it, just hit it about 10 times on each side with the strop, and it's pretty much popping hair again. So really great steel, plus it's corrosive resistance. The Cerakote on the blade helps too with that. Ergonomics on it are really good. You can choke up. Got good jimping up here up top. You can see the jimping if you want to choke up like that. You can't choke up too far. It doesn't have like a full finger choil. It's got a sharpening choil. Do the hardware on it, I guess. I forgot to do that. Pivot. Got a T8 on here right now. Show you guys that T8. T8 on the pivot. And the body screws are T8. Clip screws are T8. So that's awesome. T8 all the way around on this thing. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to keep it from stripping out, and plus you don't have to keep swapping out your bit sizes. There's no Torx on the little thumb stud thing, but you can get it off. I actually it was on there really tight. I got a pair of channel locks, a small pair, and put some tape over the teeth on the channel lock so it wouldn't mess it up. And I was able to turn it and get it loose and then put it back on. But I took it loose for sharpening, because if you got a fixed angle sharpening system, whenever, let me see if I can get one here. Whenever you're sharpening the knife, the sharpening stone actually, like say you're trying to sharpen the bottom, the sharpening stone it'll rub that. It'll mess that up if you leave it on there, or you won't be able to sharpen this part of the blade, that little bit. So I took it off whenever I sharpen it and put it back on. That's the only reason I took it off. I was considering actually leaving it off, because cutting with this thing isn't too bad without the thumb studs. It's harder to activate, which with this able lock they call it. That's Hogue's version of an axis lock, crossbore lock. With that lock, you can actually open it and close it without the thumb stud. I don't think it's especially good for the spring in there, but you can do that. But I chose to put it back on just because open it with the thumb stud is a lot more convenient. But that is probably overall, I would say, besides the handle material not being great on the knife itself, that is probably my only other complaint that I can think of, is that this thumb stud does snag. It's a bit grabby, it's a bit snaggy whenever you're trying to cut through stuff. You know, and you also, if you're going to use a fixed angle sharpening system, probably going to have to take that off unless you want to mess it up. Overall, those small minor inconveniences, I think, are not anything to cancel out buying this knife if you're kind of on the fence. This is a great knife. All American made, definitely competitive, better in my opinion than the Benchmade bug out. I'm sure you can get this knife in all kinds of different variants, you know, you can get it in satin, I think, and also the Cerakote. You can get different handle colors, you can get different handle materials, you can get aftermarket scales for it, you can get it in the Warncliffe, I believe it is, blade. So lots of different options with that one. Great knife for the price. American made, Hogue Deka. I would definitely recommend that one. And that's about all I got on that. And you guys have a great day. Like the video if you like it. Make sure you subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.